America, friends and family. These are facts. I'm not making any of this up. These are all facts. It's very easy to research. A guy named Paul Manafort was Donald Trump's first campaign advisor. Right before working for Donald Trump, he worked for Viktor Yanukovych, who was elected as president of Ukraine. Viktor Yanukovych was supremely corrupt. He was centralizing power in Ukraine. He was stealing from the Ukrainian people. He was spending stupid amounts of money on lavish nonsense. And it became very obvious that he was a Russian asset. When it became obvious to the people of Ukraine, they ran him out of office. He literally fled the country, he physically fled. Guess where he fled to? Russia, because he was a Russian asset. That's where he still lives today. Unfortunately, he's still alive. Okay? Paul Manafort was his campaign lead. Paul Manafort's very next job, his very next job, not 1,000 years later, a year later, too. His very next job was working for Donald Trump as his campaign lead. And he took the job for $0.00. Even though he owed, at the time, $60 million to Oleg Deripaska, one of the most sinister Russian oligarchs to ever live, a close friend of Vladimir Putin. If you think that's a coincidence, you're one of the dumbest people alive. Donald Trump has been laundering money for Russian criminals. And let me tell you this, there is no separation between Russian criminal oligarchs and the Kremlin. None. When I say Russian criminals, I mean the most powerful people in Russia. Donald Trump has been laundering money for them since the 80s. It's a fact. The CIA and FBI both investigated it as far back as the 80s. There's documentaries, there's books, there's podcasts, there's magazine articles. It's not the deep state unless you think the deep state has just been investigating him his whole damn life. This is all fact. I've spent probably 1,000 hours researching this stuff. So unless you've spent 1,000 hours researching it, you don't know more than me. You don't. But if you want to pretend that you do, I'd be happy to debate you on a recorded Zoom call so you can show me how smart you are. This is not a difference in political opinion. This is the American government breaking their word, abandoning an ally in favor of a murderous dictator, the most sinister murderous dictator on planet Earth right now, who helped Assad kill 500,000 of his own people in Syria. He's killed around 1 million people in Ukraine. They found graves in Bucha with 458 civilians in a mass grave, many of them burned, many of their hands tied, many of them shot in the head. Women, children, unarmed men, not fighters, civilians. All of this information was given to me by somebody that was working for the International Criminal Court to prosecute Vladimir Putin for war crimes. And Donald Trump told every American working on this right here that if they kept working on it, they would be sanctioned. Financial sanctions, not allowed to be in the country. Financial sanctions that would prevent them from getting a home. He's not just refusing aid. He has now cut off all aid to Ukraine, all of it. But he didn't just cut off the aid. He's cut off all the intelligence. And they are just being bombed mercilessly. Russia has kidnapped an estimated 30,000 children, taken from their parents, from their families, taken to Russia and rehomed. Their names changed, told they'll never go back to Ukraine. That's your old life. Your new life is Russian. You're Russian now. This is your new name. I want you to imagine they came and took your kids. And the superpower that told you that they were going to protect your country did nothing. Stopped all aid, stopped all intelligence, and started sucking the dick of the dictator that was killing your children, raping your women, killing your civilians, destroying your towns. This is not a difference in opinion. This is a broken promise. The first one of this magnitude ever in the history of this country. This is the end of America being the oldest democracy on earth. We are no longer siding with the other democracies. We are siding with a murderous dictator who, by the way, isn't as strong as you think he is. He's lost a ton of men. He's having to borrow soldiers from North Korea because he doesn't have enough men to fight. Over 700,000 able-bodied Russians have left Russia because they don't want to fight in his bullshit war. He is a small and weak man, a little man in stature and character. Vladimir Putin is a piece of shit. He's a coward and a pussy like Donald Trump. That's why they like each other, because they're both pieces of shit, because weak men have to act strong. And it's a fucking act. And this Brian Glenn clown, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, this fat-faced redneck, to go into the Oval Office and ask Zelensky why he's not wearing a suit, because his country's at war, you stupid redneck. You dirt road piece of trash. That's why. Winston Churchill didn't wear a suit when he visited the United States during World War II either. It's real common. You don't know that because you're fucking stupid. You two deserve each other, you piece of shit. You people are pussies and cowards and traitors and bootlickers and simpletons. You are traitors to this country. Let's fight these fucking fascist clowns. Long live Ukraine.